chapter, which is called Looking Back at the Day. 4 panels, starting with the Leadership Dilemmas panel. I took away that it's okay to have tough conversations. We are dealing with change, and if we don't feel change, there is no change. So that's something quite interesting. We also heard that we need to work on the implementation of policies. That's where trust is built or kept. Maybe we focus too much on the design of policies, so implementing is key, and that's also a message for the European Union. We'll come to that later. Consistency is also important. We've heard about that. It also returned in the last discussion of building a short-term program that has a long-term vision, and also the message not to deflect as local politicians, local leaders. We are all part of a big, nice governance lasagna, which means we also all have to take our role. We know that other layers in the lasagna determine the taste, but it doesn't mean that you can always shift the blame to others. Second topic, Social Climate Fund. Very important was to hear that this is the starting point to address transport poverty, not the end point. Read the regulation. That's also a message for you. Not only the transport part, but the full part, to understand also how we are relating or competing to the other sectors in the Social Climate Fund, energy and housing. And don't forget the micro companies. They are the ones who really need vehicles, where also the transition to zero-emission vehicles is more complex, challenging. We heard about 30,000 companies disappearing in 10 years in logistics in Italy. That's where you should focus as well in your actions on transport poverty on these micro companies. Infrastructures, indeed the session after lunch, then I lost my, no, that's not true, I kept listening. I think it's what I found interesting in the panel is that we were dealing with people who are navigating the space before the European frameworks are in place and everything is built and ready to use. So that also is the space where Polis is active, together with other partners, of course, and that creates very specific challenges. So you have these frontrunners who are creating the solutions for the future. Balancing the digital and the physical world, also trying to understand where we need better and more skilled people. Then competitiveness, 2 sets of triple Ps. You have public-private partnerships that came forward as of super essence here, but also the balance between planet, people and profit. Also maybe balance in terms of time. When do we prioritize profit for then later to balance, to be of profit for the planet and the people, or do we take it in one go? Mutual understanding between sectors is very important. For instance, what we heard from Alice, this very narrow profit margin of logistics companies. You have to know that as public sector before you engage with this sector. Urban nodes as essential to manage international and improve international access, and also this notion that we as cities are delivering the what else that can attract economic activity, the whole range of aspects that makes companies decide whether to invest in a specific city. What was also very apparent, nobody on the panel talked about competition. Even if there might be cities who want to compete with other cities, we had a very good understanding of the fact that this is a zero-sum game, that we are looking at competitiveness to be of benefit to the entire continent. I'll speed up a bit. Moving to the next chapter, reflecting on Luca Persia's presentation. He mentioned 3 sectors or 3 moments where leadership is essential. First one was defining objectives. The second one, being able to really generate available budget, and thirdly, implementing a plan after decision of a best strategy. So here is also where we are entering the EU agenda that we are currently, that is currently under discussion in Brussels. I was wondering when I listened to this presentation, hearing about these three elements where leadership is shown, try to understand where the EU is currently supporting local authorities in defining objectives, in finding budget, in helping implementation, or where it actually is undercutting the local potential to set policy agendas, bring in budgets, and deliver the plan. So if you put it on a spectrum in Europe, it's somewhere between Musk, undercutting, and Tusk, a good governance based on working with all the stakeholders in the Union. So my idea was first to make you shout, like, is it Musk or is it Tusk? But there's no time for that, so I'll be brief. So if you look at objectives, I think we heard today that the competitiveness agenda for Europe and the Green Deal are very close to each other. And also, I think we as cities, we understand that we are in that competitiveness discussion and we should be recognized in that role. We are procurers, we are regulators, we provide incentives, we provide the space and for industry, for innovation ecosystems to manufacture, but also to test and pilot. So we are there, and we need to make sure that it's clear to the institutions that we are essential in that regard. On the budget, things are more complex. If you look at the multi-annual financial framework, it's not looking good. I'll come back to that later, but what is there now might not be there tomorrow, and we have to be very aware and act on that. And then thirdly, on the implementation, for Polis, we have defined a number of implementation key priorities: Social Climate Fund, TEN-T, Cycling Declaration, Digital Agenda, Decarbonization Agenda, and I think we're halfway there. There are parts of the policy agenda where the EU is supportive in funding and in technical assistance. There are parts that are really problematic and where we don't find any backing at the moment, and definitely not in where the agenda for the future is really not great. So what is next? Third chapter on the agenda is all the policy activities that Polis will engage in. We look at the urban agenda. It's Europe's local and regional policy agenda, which will be defined now. There's a consultation open. Please respond, but because all of your voices need to be heard there. There is the discussion about the multi-annual financial framework, where we really need to understand how urban mobility will find its space in national single plans, big budget envelopes that are dealt with at national level, but also in European funding like or European level funding like the Competitiveness Fund. And for this audience, it's particularly important to understand that this Competitiveness Fund is at the moment not very helpful for cities and regions for urban mobility. And specifically on research and innovation, we still have to do a lot of work together with other associations here in the room. We have crafted with several organizations here a very closely knit and very specific sweet spot where we find triple helix research on urban mobility possible. And this is disappearing. On the one hand, you have industrial research. On the other hand, you have general urban transition research. So this urban mobility spot is at the moment vacant and needs to be filled again. Then to conclude, it's a special chapter for Senna. It's about what you will take home to your cousin. I don't know his age, but I would first start by putting a bit of perspective, expectation management. Life is not a pony camp. You have to be clear with children that it's okay. Second thing is you can say that you became a bit more smart, even smarter, because that's the second point, that we share knowledge in Polis. Maybe you made new friends or will make new friends. Van Santa, even if we are different, we can be friends and we can talk and learn from each other in networks and across networks. Maybe you can use the image of the Swiss army knife, that we are some kind of a toolbox where you can pick your tools to solve problems. And then you have to say also that you will throw a big party in Utrecht for your new friends. End of November, there's the Polis conference. I'm ending. There was a great Roman emperor, Robertus Edificatoris, and he said, possumus facere etiam potes. And if you put that in Google Translate, you will find that Bob the Builder said, can we fix it? Yes, we can. So there's a lot to do. Let's get to work.
Thank you, Ivo, and I think you can agree with me that he did a great job in wrapping up today and getting the essence out of the different intense conversations we had. And we could indeed continue that conversation for much longer, and Ivo already mentioned it. We will come together again with an even much bigger group in Utrecht at the end of November, so make sure you are there. We will be launching the program and registrations will open at the end of June, so stay tuned, and Senna will be our host over there in a very beautiful and happy city, as we learned earlier. So what is left for me to do is to thank the wonderful team here in Rome for hosting us, for working with us, for being an active Polis member. Eugenio, thank you so much. To the city and the whole team. And also the Rome Mobility Agency. Thank you so much to Chiara and your team. And I will give you the final words to wrap up and also give some further details on the site visits.
Okay, I thank you so much for having joined us in Rome, for having accepted our invitations, for being here in these vibrant days and in a challenging period, of course. Yes, the wrap-up has been done very thoroughly, so I want to thank especially Mr. Patané, Mrs. Donati, for having had the courage to having this meeting in Rome. So to remain, especially Mr. Patané, he's the brave one. I thank Fabio for having built this bridge towards this Polis summit. Then we go to the reception. Okay, so to the interesting stuff. Tonight we are going to meet at 7:30 in Palazzo delle Esposizioni. You probably know better than me how to reach it when you go to Google Maps. It's quite close to here. I don't know, what can I say? It's a very nice location. We'll be on the roof garden there. Then we have three interesting site visits. The first one is called is Grab, but it's very synthetic because we are going to reach this place by an electric bus which has just been introduced in the public transport fleet, which is waiting for us down here, and a colleague of ours will drive us. So all the people that have the green sticker can follow the green. Where is my colleague with the green mark? Okay. And so we are leaving with the electric bus, which will take us to Piazzale Ostiense, where we have the opportunity to take a tram, a new line, which will bring us to Circo Massimo. And then we will get off there, and there will be a colleague describing us the works of the GRAB. The GRAB is a cycling lane, a special cycling lane, that is being built in Rome. The first bench has been built along Via di San Gregorio, which is an historical area, where the very important thing is that the street has been narrowed, really narrowed for cars. And much more space has been dedicated to pedestrians and to cyclists, with special pavement that take care also of the potential absorbent of heat. So people moving there should not have too much heat. And so this is the first experimental thing we have done. And so I invite the people going to this site visit to join the green, the green sign there, my colleague Annalisa.
But maybe explain all of them first.
Pardon?
Or maybe just go through all of them first.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, I describe all the others. Okay. All the people just start going because we have a bit of time constraints. So you can take your jackets and keep going. I agreed with Pedro.
Yeah, because it will be messy now, but it's okay.
No, we agreed.
But I need to.
No, man,
Everybody with a green
Just
sticker, please head to the door.